Her name is Terry Farrell, and she plays the Trill symbiote Dax on Star Trek Deep Space Nine.
Try a high-pitched sonic shower. It'll make you feel better.
Never
No, it won't.
boring to look at this dialogue. It's always a new creature, a new alien, a new situation that we're in. I mean, the station's in jeopardy.
What do you have, Dex?
In the last hour alone, the rupture's expanded 27%. The rate of expansion is increasing.
Can we gain any time by moving the station?
If the rift collapses, the implosion would overtake us almost immediately.
I think what's nice about it is to have, I don't know, a traditional job that would be for a man. It gives my character more, I have more room to explore everything. Instead of going from being feminine to have to be masculine and take control of a situation, I can take control and be sensitive about it.
These are on the house.
Roll it, please.
The success of Deep Space Nine, does playing Dax for the next several years limit her?
I don't think that's something to be concerned about with. First of all, I never played anybody like Dax before. And secondly, I have my hiatus to do something different. I mean, this hiatus, I played a socialite and a detective. It couldn't be further from Dax. So that was fun, and that made me more excited to come back to the second season. I think that part of it helps.
2 new incarnations are now beaming simultaneously onto American television. First came Deep Space Nine, set on a frontier space station. 2 years on, Paramount launched the latest Star Trek, Voyager.
I have no doubt that its popularity will diminish at some point. Perhaps it's already diminishing. I don't know. I'm much too immersed in it. I hope not, but I think it's only natural because that's how things go. They become very popular and then people get sick of it and it wanes for a little bit. But something tells me Star Trek's going to be around for a very long time. A, because it has been around for 30 years, and B, because it's so elegant and simple a premise.
Red alert!
Came up with 3 major premises that were different. One was that was a female captain. One was the whole idea of these Maquis, these rebels. And the third is to take the ship, and to take its crew, and to fling them to the other side of our galaxy.
We're still dealing with the same optimistic future, but we've thrown our people off into a place where they're alone. So without the support system, without the ability to call for help, without the advice of Starfleet, they are back to basics.
Back to basics, but with a groundbreaking captain, played by Kate Mulgrew. She replaced Geneviève Bujold just weeks before shooting began. But Kate had little trouble stepping into Janeway's jumper.
It was total ownership, or it was nothing. And it emanated really perfectly naturally from me. And then I sort of looked around and everybody was going, I think we might actually have something to do here next week. It suited me. It feels good.
All senior officers report to the bridge immediately.
With Kate leading the way, we all managed to slip easily into our characters.
Often actors grope for their characters. It takes them, if not a few episodes, sometimes a season to really sort of try things and test it out and see who they are. These people, for whatever reason, knew instantly who they were and what they were about.
As for how we got up to speed so quickly, we all give credit to one essential element.
The care that the producers put into the writing.
The stories are so well written.
Well, there's no question that the writing is superior.
It creates thoughts in my mind, and I know if it's creating thoughts in my mind, or at least I hope, that it's going to please the audience and the viewers.
The folding of space should create a subspace residue. If we can detect one, we might be a step closer to knowing how the trajectory works.
Any Star Trek episode, I would say, is the hardest kind of writing I have ever done. The demands are extraordinary. It is a well-crafted, thoughtful, intelligent human drama.
And every episode features the most torturous, tongue-twisting technical terminology heard in television.
If we could modify the deflector array to emit phase neutrinos, we could create a big enough bubble.
It's called technobabble, okay, and it comes in threes, all right? So you coherent tetryon beam, polarized magnetic variation. And if they really want to mess you up, they give you 5. The writers will give you 5 in a row. It's a single class 3 humanoid organism, and that's 5 in a row.
I had a line once, and we were running out of camera, and we were at the end of the day, and everybody wanted to go home, and I couldn't say spatial distortions. I kept saying facial distortions.
What did I have to say yesterday? I had to say Sikaris has a mantle of tetrahedral quartz 20 kilometers thick.
And then another time, I was supposed to say subspace beacon, and I kept saying subspace bacon.
The crystalline structure of the mantle serves to focus and amplify the projector field.
Yeah.
Every script has a pronunciation guide because whether it's an alien being or race, that has to be phonetically, marked out so that everybody says the same thing.
The outstanding chemistry of the cast keeps us all focused.
These 9 actors have melded in a way that is something you would expect after 2-3 years. And they did it almost immediately.
There's usually somebody who's a little rocky or a little shaky. The chemistry's off. This is not the case.
When First Contact came around, Sherry Lansing, who was the president of Paramount at the time, had said to Rick Berman, who was our producer, it was in his hands as to who was going to get to direct the film. It was decided that it would be someone from in-house. And at this point, I had done probably a dozen episodes since the 3rd season, and I threw my hat in the ring, hoping, obviously, that something would come of this. And God bless him, Berman and Sherry Lansing and Jonathan Dolgen, who was the CEO, said, let's have Frakes do it. And it changed my life. It was my first movie. It was a huge success. And it's all because the script was spectacular. And I always saw it as my job not to screw it up. It was a very exciting experience. And we were able to pepper comedy in it. It was just a script. And it's a cliche to say that if it's not on the page, it's not on the stage, but in this case, it was absolutely true.
It has been so much fun to be back. I must say, it just got better and better, and when we finally hit the bridge, it's like no time has passed. It could have been last week or last month that we were doing this as the TV show. It's the same feeling.
It hasn't been that much of a reunion for the cast because we see each other all the time. And it's fun to have the characters hang around each other again, too.
It is an intriguing sensation. The most distracting...
I'm sure it's a fascinating experience, but perhaps you should deactivate your emotion chip for now.
Good idea, sir.
The new members of the cast were surprised by the atmosphere on the set.
When you watch the show, you figure the whole cast, since it's such, a drama-filled show, that everybody would be really tense and really uptight and really straight, not even close. I mean, these people are the biggest cut-ups.
Mr. Hawke, pursuit course. Engage.
Cut!
That's great.
Oh, no!
An area in which I realized the difference between making a television show and making a movie was in a meeting I was having with the special effects guys. Terry Frazee, who ran special effects on almost all the Star Trek movies, big Hollywood effects guy. And we were talking about the bombing of that town where Jamie Cromwell and Alfred lived, where a lot of the movie took place. And I said, would it be possible maybe if we planted some M80s or something and we blew up like the gardens in the back of these houses? And he looked me in the eye and he said, Frakes, you're making a big movie. We're gonna blow up the whole town. And it dawned on me. It was like a light bulb going on. That's the difference between doing a TV show where we'd blow up somebody's potato garden and a movie where we'd blow up the whole town.
In their past voyages, the Generations crew has encountered the most lethal villains in the universe, from the Klingons and Cardassians to the evil Soren. But Picard and his team face their greatest challenge in the Borg.
They are a species who assimilate many different races. And through this assimilation process, they have become almost automaton-like individuals with no independence, no mind of their own.
They say, we want you to be like us, and we're going to roll over you because we are the majority and we are in power.
We know that they deal with a collective mind, with a collective voice. We also know that they fly in cube-like ships that are quite impenetrable, when they're like a swarm of ants going across a picnic table.
Captain, they've adapted. Regroup on deck 15. Don't let them touch you!
They have one leader, the Borg Queen, who controls the entire Borg hive, if you will.
I am the beginning, the end, the one who is many.
It's an entrance that I think I will never be able to top. Never again will I have such an entrance.
I am the Borg.
She's the fountainhead of it all. She's it. She's the intelligence that animates the Borg.
By assimilating other beings into our collective, we are bringing them closer to perfection.
Somehow, I question your motives.
That is because you haven't been properly stimulated yet.
Creating a unique look for the Borg was the job of Academy Award-winning makeup artist Michael Westmore, who designed more than 100 alien looks for the next generation.
I tried to keep it in the world we know. There's a bit of humanistic quality in the alien races we run into. Hence, a lot of races are foreheads and noses and things because we can associate with them.
It was the combination of human and android qualities that Westmore brought to the look of the Borg.
The biggest challenge with the Borgs was trying to make them look more functional. As a machine, we'd put holograms in the eyes, LCDs in the eyes, blinking lights, just anything we could to give more action to the face.
The key to the Borg conquest lies with a man named Zefram Cochrane.
Let me just make sure that I understand you correctly. Cybernetic creatures have traveled back through time to enslave the human race. And you're here to stop them? That's right. Zefram Cochrane, he's a rocket scientist. And he's sort of a maverick, you know, a throwback to the 1960s. And he develops warp speed.
He represents to the post-21st century what perhaps the Wright brothers, the aviators, represent to us in the 20th century.
He's the guy who started the whole idea of our being able to travel faster than light, which means our being able to get to other worlds.
Zefram Cochrane is actually the guy who started Star Trek. And you people, you're all astronauts on some kind of Star Trek.
Cochrane is played by Academy Award nominee James Cromwell, who had appeared in several episodes of The Next Generation.
When we were creating the character, we always had Jamie in our head. And then Babe came along, and all of a sudden he was nominated for an Academy Award, and we thought, oh my God, we're not going to get him. He's too big for us now. But because we had worked with him on a number of occasions, we were delighted that he did, in fact, take the role.
Her name is Terry Farrell, and she plays the Trill symbiote Dax on Star Trek Deep Space Nine.
Try a high-pitched sonic shower. It'll make you feel better.
Never
No, it won't.
boring to look at this dialogue. It's always a new creature, a new alien, a new situation that we're in. I mean, the station's in jeopardy.
What do you have, Dex?
In the last hour alone, the rupture's expanded 27%. The rate of expansion is increasing.
Can we gain any time by moving the station?
Dax for the next several years limit her?
I don't think that's something to be concerned about with. First of all, I never played anybody like Dax before. And secondly, I have my hiatus to do something different. I mean, this hiatus, I played a socialite and a detective. I couldn't be further from Dax. So that was fun, and that made me more excited to come back to the second season. I think that part of it helps.
2 new incarnations are now beaming simultaneously onto American television. First came Deep Space Nine.
It wanes for a little bit, but something tells me Star Trek's going to be around for a very long time. A, because it has been around for 30 years, and B, because it's so elegant and simple a premise.
Red alert!
Came up with 3 major premises that were different. One was that was a female captain. One was the whole idea of these Maquis, these...
If the rift collapses, the implosion would overtake us almost immediately.
I think what's nice about it is to have, I don't know, a traditional job that would be for a man. It gives my character more, I have more room to explore everything. Instead of going from being feminine to have to be masculine and take control of a situation, I can take control and be sensitive about it.
These are on the house.
Roll it, please.
Speed.
The success of Deep Space Nine does play
on a frontier space station. 2 years on, Paramount launched the latest Star Trek, Voyager.
I have no doubt that its popularity will diminish at some point. Perhaps it's already diminishing. I don't know. I'm much too immersed in it. I hope not, but I think it's only natural because that's how things go. They become very popular and then people get sick of it, and it